Have you ever noticed a mysterious smell that lingers even after you've just showered? You know the feeling. You've done everything right. You shower every day, use your deodorant, put on fresh clothes, and yet there it is, that subtle, persistent odor that just won't go away. It's frustrating, isn't it? You may be thinking, what am I missing? Well, in today's video, we're going to uncover some hidden sources of body odor that many people overlook. These are the places you might never think to clean, yet they could be the key to eliminating that lingering scent that's bothering you. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of a few simple, easy-to-implement hygiene habits that can leave you feeling fresher, more comfortable, and more confident every single day. We'll dive into some of the most commonly neglected areas, like the area behind your ears, the nape of your neck, and even your navel and groin, those spots that we often skip but can be major contributors to persistent body odor. And here's the best part. It doesn't take drastic changes to your routine, just an extra few seconds of care and attention during your shower routine. So why should you stick around and watch until the end? Because these simple adjustments won't just help improve your cleanliness, they'll also have a positive impact on your emotional well-being and confidence. When you start paying attention to these little details, you'll notice a shift in how you feel about yourself, and it won't go unnoticed by those around you either. Stick with me as I show you how making these small, consistent changes can lead to a fresher, more confident you. These are the kind of easy yet impactful tips that can make a difference in your daily routine. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and activate the notification bell so you never miss any new videos. Your support means the world to me, and if you found this video helpful, you can help me keep spreading these valuable insights by liking and sharing it with others. If this video resonates with you, please leave a 1 in the comments. If not, feel free to comment 0, and let me know how I can improve and bring you more helpful content. Let's dive right in. Area 1. Behind the ears. When it comes to daily hygiene, one of the most commonly overlooked spots is right behind the ears. It's a small, hidden area, often out of sight, and because of this, it tends to be neglected. What most people don't realize, however, is that this little spot is rich in sebaceous glands, tiny oil-producing glands that become more active as we age. As we get older, our skin starts producing a specific kind of oil called naninol, which combines with sweat and dead skin cells. When this mixture is left unwashed, it can build up behind the ears, resulting in a stale, musty odor that can linger even after a shower. Take George, for instance. At 79 years old, George showered daily and always spritzed on his favorite cologne before going out. He thought he had everything covered in terms of cleanliness. But one day, his granddaughter, Emma, hugged him and gently mentioned that she noticed a strange smell lingering around him. Initially, George felt embarrassed. He had always taken pride in his cleanliness. But rather than feeling defensive, he decided to take a closer look at his routine. It was then that he realized he had never really paid attention to cleaning behind his ears. With just a soft cloth, some warm water, and a few seconds a day, the difference was immediate. Even George could notice the improvement. The musty odor disappeared, and his confidence was restored almost instantly. It's important to note that this kind of smell isn't a sign of poor hygiene. Rather, it's a sign of incomplete hygiene. The skin behind the ears tends to form small folds that naturally trap oil. And if you wear glasses, the issue can be even more pronounced, as the frames press against the skin, trapping even more oil. The good news is that it doesn't take much effort to clean this area. The key is consistency. Simply running a warm, damp cloth behind your ears during your morning or evening routine helps reduce the buildup of oil. You can also use a gentle, non-aggressive cleanser once or twice a week to keep the skin fresh and free of residue without irritating it. There's also a psychological component to consider. Many of us remember our parents reminding us, "Make sure you wash behind your ears." But as we grow older, this small but crucial habit often fades away, replaced by quicker showers and fewer checks in the mirror. But despite its seemingly minor importance, This area has a much larger impact than we realize. Odors that begin behind the ears often spread to the scalp, down to the neck, and onto our clothing. These subtle smells influence how others perceive us, even if they never directly mention it. Have you ever wondered why certain odors persist, despite your best hygiene efforts? This could be the missing piece. It's not about scrubbing aggressively or using harsh products, but rather about paying attention to the little details. By reclaiming those spots you may have stopped tending to over time, you also reclaim a sense of freshness that others will notice, even if they can't quite put their finger on why. Taking this small, mindful step will make you feel lighter, fresher, and more comfortable in your skin. Sometimes, the key to improving your hygiene routine and boosting your confidence is as simple as going back to basics. Area 2. The nape of the neck. Hidden just beneath the hairline and often covered by collars, scarves, or long hair, the nape of the neck is one of the most forgotten and overlooked spots when it comes to daily hygiene. It's also one of the most underestimated sources of body odor, especially for older adults. This area serves as a gathering point for sweat glands, natural hair oils, and dead skin cells. Over time, these can accumulate without any obvious signs of dirt, making this spot especially deceptive. The tricky part is that there are rarely visible stains or clear indicators that something is amiss. But if the nape isn't washed properly, this small patch of skin becomes an unnoticed contributor to what some might call old person smell. Take Helen, for example. At 70, Helen was always meticulous about her hygiene. Her clothes were always spotless, her hair perfectly styled, and she never missed a shower. But during warmer days, especially after spending time outdoors, she began noticing a faint, sour odor, like sweat, even after she had just gotten dressed. After thinking it over, she realized she hadn't been paying close attention to her nape, particularly at the end of the day. It wasn't until her hairdresser casually pointed out a slight buildup on her neck that Helen took action. With just a small tweak to her shower routine, the issue was resolved in just a few days. The nape of the neck is especially prone to trapping sweat, particularly in warmer climates or when you're wearing layers of clothing. If you have long hair that falls over your neck, the natural oils from your scalp slide down to the base of your neck. Add the heat and pressure from shirt collars or hooded jackets, and you create the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. It's those bacteria, not the sweat itself, that produce the odor. When sweat sits for too long in a warm, enclosed area, it can become a haven for microorganisms. Many people make the mistake of washing their face and hair but forget about the little strip of skin in between. Over time, this area can become a hotspot for dirt and odor buildup. Since the nape is so close to your head and shoulders, it can impact how others perceive your cleanliness, especially in close interactions like hugging or sitting next to someone. It's a place where the other person's nose naturally lands when hugging you, and it's a spot where body heat accumulates, particularly in confined spaces. That's why even someone who maintains excellent hygiene might still emit a subtle, unexpected odor if this small but important area is overlooked. Cleaning the nape isn't difficult. Just take a warm cloth and spend a few extra seconds during your shower to gently rub the area. Pay close attention, especially after sweating, and notice how the skin feels afterward. It should feel smooth, clean, and free from any sticky residue that suggests oil buildup. If you use cologne, lotion, or any other products, apply them only after thoroughly cleaning the nape, so the scent lasts longer and doesn't mix with old, lingering residue. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Beyond the practical benefits, there's something deeply emotional about paying attention to these small details. It's a reminder that you're still caring for yourself with intention and respect, that your body deserves the same care now as it did when you were younger. How you feel, how you smell, and how you carry yourself still matter in the spaces you share with others. By tending to these forgotten corners of your body, you're nurturing the dignity and pride that you bring with you every day. Area 3. Under the breasts or in skin folds. This is one of those areas that isn't often discussed, but it plays a crucial role in body odor, especially as we age and our skin becomes softer, looser, and more prone to forming folds. Whether it's under the breasts, around the abdomen, beneath the buttocks, or anywhere skin touches skin, these hidden folds create the perfect environment for heat, moisture, and bacteria to build up. Once that process starts, it doesn't take long for a strong, unpleasant odor to develop, sometimes without the person even noticing. Take Susan, for example. At 68, Susan was always pristine. The kind of woman who kept her house immaculate, always dressed elegantly, and took great care of her appearance. But during the summer, especially on humid days, she began to feel a bit uneasy. Even after her morning shower, she noticed a faint sour smell in the afternoons. She tried everything, switching her detergent, trying different deodorants, and even buying new clothes, but nothing seemed to work. It wasn't until a nurse at her wellness clinic suggested paying more attention to the skin under her breasts and around her waist that she realized where the issue lay. With just a small tweak to her hygiene routine, carefully cleaning and drying these areas every day, the odor was gone within a week. What many people don't realize is that these areas can stay damp for hours, even after a shower. The lingering moisture, especially in warmer climates or under layers of clothing, creates an ideal breeding ground for bacteria and fungi. It's not about dirt, but rather the creation of a microclimate. These hidden zones are warm, dark, and often compressed, allowing sweat and natural body oils to ferment and form odor-causing compounds. Since these areas aren't exposed to air or sunlight, they rarely dry out on their own. There's also an emotional layer to consider. For some, these areas feel too private or even embarrassing to address. But ignoring them doesn't make the problem go away, it only makes it worse. As the skin in these spots becomes more delicate with age, irritation and unpleasant odors can increase. Redness, itching, or a burning sensation might signal that the skin is suffering from prolonged moisture and pressure. Left unchecked, this can lead to painful rashes or infections, which can make even the simplest movements uncomfortable. The good news? A small adjustment to your hygiene routine can make a world of difference. After showering, use a soft towel to gently dry under any skin folds, especially under the breasts, around the belly, or anywhere you tend to sweat. Consider using a fragrance-free, gentle powder or an absorbent cloth to reduce moisture throughout the day. Some people even use cotton pads or breathable fabric liners to keep these areas dry and odor-free. Just be sure to avoid overly harsh or heavily scented products, as they can irritate the skin over time. Beyond the physical benefits, there's a significant emotional boost that comes from taking care of these small details. When you know you smell clean and fresh, you walk with more confidence. You can lean in for a hug without hesitation, put on fresh clothes without wondering if anyone will notice an odor, and spend time with others feeling assured that you're presenting your best self. You carry yourself with a sense of pride and confidence because you've taken care of the small things. And those small things matter, especially when they help you feel like your best self again. The odor that can seem mysterious or persistent often stems from one of these hidden folds. But once you know where to look and how to care for those areas, everything changes. It's not about shame, it's about being informed, feeling empowered, and understanding that your comfort and self-esteem deserve just a few extra minutes of care every day. Area 4. Scalp and hairline. The scalp is often one of the most overlooked sources of body odor, especially as we grow older. It's not that we forget to wash our hair. No, it's much more subtle than that. The real issue lies in the neglect of the scalp itself. Too many of us, especially older adults, continue to follow the same hair washing routine that we learned when we were teenagers. A quick squeeze of shampoo, a rinse, and we think we're good to go. But the truth is, our scalp is so much more than just a base for our hair. It's living, breathing skin that has its intricate ecosystem. It produces oil, sheds dead skin cells, and absorbs all the dust, pollution, and environmental particles that bombard us every day. And when these substances accumulate, they don't just sit quietly. They start to create odors that can linger and become quite noticeable. Take Richard's experience, for instance. At 65, Richard prided himself on being well-groomed. He kept his hair styled neatly, got regular haircuts, and never, ever skipped a shower. He thought he was doing everything right. But over time, he began to notice a faint, almost imperceptible sour or greasy smell wafting from his scalp, especially on warm afternoons or after wearing a hat for a long time. At first, he thought it was the shampoo's fault, blaming it for the unwelcome scent. But after a visit to his barber, Richard learned a shocking truth. He hadn't been washing his scalp properly. Instead of massaging his scalp with care, he was just washing the hair on top, completely neglecting the skin beneath. Once he made the simple shift of using his fingertips to gently scrub his scalp with every wash, the difference was instant. The odor vanished, and suddenly, his hair felt lighter, fresher, and healthier. It was as if he had unlocked a new level of self-care, one he hadn't even realized he was missing. As we age, the body changes in so many ways, and the scalp is no exception. It tends to produce more sebum, the natural oils that keep our skin moisturized. While these oils are essential for protecting our skin, if they're not properly cleaned off, they mix with sweat, product residue, and dead skin cells, creating a potent, distinctive odor that no amount of perfume or hairspray can mask. And let's face it, this is something that often gets worse as we get older. Medications, decreased blood circulation, and lower levels of sweating compared to when we were younger can all contribute to the buildup of this oil and other substances on our scalp, turning it into a quiet little storage unit for odors that release over time. It's often in the hairline, particularly around the temples or the nape of the neck, where the smell becomes most noticeable. Add hats, wigs, or scarves to the mix, and suddenly you've created a microclimate on your scalp, trapping heat and blocking airflow. Even thinner hair, which exposes more of the scalp, can exacerbate the problem, making those odors more apparent to others. You may not notice it yourself, but others will. Whether during a haircut, a hug, or even a casual handshake, they might subtly pull away, not wanting to be too close. It's a delicate matter. Most won't bring it up, but they'll silently make a mental note. The good news is that cleaning your scalp doesn't require harsh treatments or expensive shampoos. The key lies in time, patience, and the right technique. Focus on massaging your scalp gently with your fingertips, not your nails. Treat your scalp as you would your face, gently, with care. Work in circular motions, especially at the base of your skull, the crown, and behind your ears. Pay attention to areas that are often neglected, and always rinse thoroughly to avoid any leftover shampoo or conditioner, as these residues can contribute to unwanted smells as well. If you use styling products, be diligent about washing them out regularly, as product buildup is one of the main culprits behind scalp odors. It might seem like a small detail, but the impact of a clean, healthy scalp on your overall presence is significant. A fresh, well-maintained scalp doesn't just smell better. It changes everything about how your hair behaves, how your skin feels, and even how you carry yourself. There's something undeniably magnetic about freshness. People respond to it instinctively, even if they can't quite figure out why it's so appealing. You feel more comfortable, more at ease, and more confident when you know you've taken care of the little things that often go unnoticed. It's the kind of quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from nurturing those small details, just for yourself. The act of taking this extra step is a gift you give to your body and your spirit, one that echoes the deep respect you have for yourself. It's a small yet profound act of self-love. Area 5. The navel. It might come as a surprise to many, but the navel, often overlooked in our daily hygiene routines, can be one of the most common places where odor silently accumulates. It's easy to forget about this small, tucked-away part of our bodies. After all, we tend to focus on the more obvious areas, like our armpits, feet, and face. However, the navel, right at the center of your torso, is an area that deserves much more attention than we give it. This tiny enclosed space is the perfect environment for sweat, dead skin cells, lint, and bacteria to build up over time. It's almost as though your navel is a hidden nook that collects all the little bits of debris we don't think to clean. What's worse is that, with the right conditions, this buildup doesn't just sit there quietly. It begins to ferment, slowly growing into a smell that can catch you, and others, completely by surprise. As we age, it becomes even more crucial to stay aware of these little details in our hygiene. The odor can creep up so subtly that many older adults mistakenly attribute it to body odor coming from other areas. They don't realize that the source of this scent may be right at the heart of their torso, at the center of their body, hidden behind a place we often overlook, the navel. Take David, for example. At 70 years old, David had always been vigilant about his hygiene. He showered regularly, used antibacterial soap, and made sure he wore clean clothes every day. But, despite his best efforts, he couldn't shake the persistent odor that seemed to follow him around. It was there all day, no matter how often he showered, no matter how fresh he felt. He was frustrated and confused. Why does it keep coming back? He wondered. The smell wasn't something that had been there his whole life, but for months now, it was a constant companion. It wasn't until his wife, Kathy, casually asked him, "Have you cleaned your navel lately?" that the light bulb finally went off. David had completely forgotten about his navel. He hadn't given it any thought in years. So, with a bit of embarrassment, David took a cotton swab and some warm water and gently cleaned his navel for the first time in who knows how long. And just like that, within a few days, the stubborn odor disappeared. It was as if a weight had been lifted, both physically and emotionally. That simple, forgotten step in his hygiene routine made all the difference. The smell was gone, and David could finally breathe easy, free of the discomfort and embarrassment that had been plaguing him. The navel is tricky because it doesn't always feel dirty. It's a small, subtle spot that doesn't necessarily give you the same kind of cues as other areas. You don't see grime building up, you don't feel discomfort, and there's no obvious sign that it's time to clean. It's like a little hidden cave, especially if it's deeper or slightly recessed. Moisture can easily get trapped there, particularly after a workout or in warm, humid climates. And let's be honest, how many of us think to check that spot, especially if our waistband or clothing presses against it, making it stay damp for hours without us even noticing? It doesn't take much, just a few days of neglect, and natural bacteria begin to feed on the debris that's collected there. The result? That unpleasant odor that can easily be mistaken for armpit scent or thought to be coming from your clothes, when, in fact, it's originating from your very core. What makes this even more difficult is that, unlike other body odors, this one sneaks up on you. You don't feel it in the same way. It's subtle, and it builds up slowly. For many people, the navel is one of the last things on their mind when it comes to cleaning, and yet it's right there in the center, influencing how we feel about ourselves and how others perceive us. Cleaning your navel doesn't have to be a complicated process, but it should be done gently, with care and attention. You don't need to use harsh scrubbing methods or anything too abrasive. Simply take a soft cloth or your fingertip, and with a little mild soap and warm water, clean the inside of your navel during your shower. Be gentle. Don't press too hard or scrub roughly. It's a tender spot, and you want to be kind to your skin. If it's been a while since you've cleaned this area, you might notice some dark residue or even a waxy buildup. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. This is completely normal, so there's no need to feel embarrassed. It's just a sign that it's been a while since you gave that area the attention it needed. After cleaning, make sure to rinse thoroughly, then dry the area completely with a soft towel. It's important to make sure there's no moisture left, especially if you're someone who sweats a lot. For a quick touch-up between showers, you can also use a damp cotton swab or an alcohol-free toner to gently clean the navel without irritation. Incorporating this simple act into your daily routine can have a profound impact, more than you may realize. The navel is located right in the center of your torso, and it's incredibly close to your clothes, your hands, and your face, especially when you're engaging in conversations, eating, or just sitting next to others. A clean navel can mean a fresher, cleaner you. It's one of those small acts of self-care that can truly make a difference, both in how others perceive you and, more importantly, how you feel about yourself. It's such a small, easy habit, but the benefits can be enormous. Think about the comfort of knowing that something so simple can take away that nagging sense of self-doubt or discomfort that so many of us feel when we sense something's not quite right. Just by caring for this tiny part of your body, you're also caring for your self-confidence and peace of mind. It's about more than just hygiene. It's about feeling your best, knowing that you're paying attention to the small details, and giving yourself the care and respect you deserve. Area 6. The groin and inner thighs. The groin and inner thighs, an area many people often neglect, are surprisingly one of the most common, and yet often overlooked, sources of body odor. This part of the body generates more heat, moisture, and friction than almost any other, which makes it an ideal environment for odor-causing bacteria to thrive. It's a delicate and intimate area, and understandably, many feel uncomfortable addressing it, even when they're by themselves. However, if you've ever noticed a persistent smell that won't go away despite showering or your underwear clings to that odor no matter how many times you wash it, it's likely that the issue stems from this very spot. Let me give you an example. Jack's story is one that struck me. At 75, Jack, a retired firefighter, had always taken immense pride in staying active and clean. He walked every morning, showered regularly, and made sure his clothes were always fresh. Yet, one afternoon, something changed. He began to notice a musky smell that clung to him even after he had showered and changed into fresh clothes. It was a smell that puzzled him, something unfamiliar, but constant. He sought advice from his doctor, who ruled out infections. Jack was then gently told by his doctor to pay closer attention to the folds in his groin and inner thighs. He admitted that while he had been washing the area, it was always rushed and without much thought. Jack, as most of us do, had underestimated the importance of giving this sensitive area the attention it truly deserved. Upon following his doctor's advice, he took extra care, using a mild soap, thoroughly drying the area, and occasionally applying a moisture-absorbing powder. The change was immediate. His odor vanished, and he felt fresher and more comfortable all day long. The groin and inner thighs are home to numerous sweat glands, and as we age, the skin in these areas begins to soften and, at times, even sag slightly. This can create additional folds where moisture becomes trapped, creating an environment ripe for odor and irritation. Tight clothing, synthetic underwear, or long periods of sitting without allowing the skin to breathe only intensify the situation. What starts as simple moisture quickly spirals into something more: irritation, discomfort, and in the worst cases, infections. The groin area is located near the digestive and urinary systems, which can add to the subtle but persistent smells that develop if not properly managed. One of the toughest challenges in this region is friction. When the inner thighs rub together while walking, particularly in warmer weather or when wearing non-breathable clothing, irritation can occur. This constant friction can also make it harder to dry the area properly, especially when you're in a rush. Unfortunately, because the groin is such a private area, many people avoid discussing it, leading them to think they're the only ones dealing with this issue. But the reality is that it's far more common than most people realize, and there's no shame in addressing it. The good news is that resolving this issue is simple and doesn't require harsh chemicals or complicated steps. The solution starts with understanding how to take proper care of this sensitive area. Begin by using a gentle, fragrance-free soap and warm water to wash the entire region, including the folds where your thighs meet your pelvis. Take your time. Don't rush this process. Once you've rinsed, ensure you dry the area thoroughly. Use a clean, soft towel to gently pat the skin dry. The key here is to avoid rubbing the skin too aggressively, as this can cause further irritation to the sensitive skin. For those who sweat more than usual, a talc-free powder can be a game changer. It absorbs moisture, leaving you feeling dry and fresh throughout the day. Wearing breathable cotton underwear, changing it regularly, and especially more frequently during warmer weather can make a significant difference. These small steps will help reduce moisture buildup and keep you feeling confident and comfortable day after day. We often take our hygiene for granted, but we shouldn't underestimate the power of simple, mindful care. This delicate area deserves more than a quick, thoughtless wash. It deserves attention, kindness, and a little extra time. And once we give it that care, we can experience the freedom of feeling fresh and comfortable, knowing we've done the best for ourselves. As we wrap up today's discussion, I hope you've learned something valuable about taking proper care of one of the most overlooked areas of our bodies. From Jack's experience, we can all see how a little extra attention can go a long way in feeling fresher and more comfortable. Whether it's taking time to wash the area thoroughly, using a gentle soap, or applying moisture-absorbing powder, these small, mindful changes can make a world of difference in maintaining not only cleanliness but also your confidence. So, what have you learned so far? Is there something you'll start practicing to feel fresher and more comfortable throughout your day? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share one thing you've learned and plan to bring into your daily routine in the comments below. If you liked this video and found it helpful, don't forget to leave your comment, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourself.